Hey, what's up, everybody? If you guys didn't hear a couple weeks ago, I ended up putting out a tweet that you should see displayed up top here about the fact that there was hints at Unreal Engine 5 being worked on. The fact that we are going to see an engine update to Rocket League, and it was definitely unintentional that that information got out. We've been wondering what this big project has been for Rocket League behind the scenes, and if Rocket League Next was supposed to be them updating for 120 FPS for PS5, which they just put an update out on yesterday, or if it was going to actually be a new version of Rocket League 2.0, if you will. And I figured, what better way to discuss and talk about this than talk with the guy who makes more maps than literally anybody else in Lethamyr. Lethamyr is going to be joining me on the call. We're going to talk openly about our thoughts and opinions, the pros and possible cons to this, what can happen, and some of our concerns, as well as our hopeful wishes. The biggest thing as well is, obviously I'm not the most knowledgeable about this topic, but there is one person who is. If you guys don't know Halfway Dead, who runs the YouTube channel Rocket Science, where he breaks down the behind the scenes stuff about how many units are in a car, whatever distance stuff. He goes really in depth about a lot of really cool things. He does have a full video that talks and gets into the nitty gritty of what the engine things mean, but we're going to talk about more of the nuance for more of the casual fan base to make it a bit more relatable. But if you want to deep dive into it, I will link his video down below. But with that said, let's pull Lethamyr into the call. Hey everybody, welcome Lethamyr to the call. If you guys know him, whether as it be as a pro content creator, map makey boy, whatever you want to do, you should know who Lethamyr is by now. He's got way too many subs, and I'm sure it's still climbing. Either way, Lethamyr, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Sorry to interrupt your afternoon, whatever the heck you were doing. I don't know. You sounded busy.
A lot of stuff going on, but it's nothing new for me. But yeah, it's been good. I'm excited to talk about Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah,
a lot of exciting things coming up.
Yeah, I don't know if you've gotten to talk about this with your audience in particular, so I appreciate you hopping on the call with me. But this is something that I think a lot of us have been just actively pursuing. We've wanted an engine update because of the limitations that come with Unreal Engine 3. And we're going to try to, and I'll try to do my best to explain the differences between 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
But I'm going to have you provide more of the insight of how it affects you and the things you do, whether it be good or bad, because I think there is some cons from what we've been saying off camera, which spooks me a little bit based upon the stuff you've said. So
I mean, it's not like really a negative thing. It's just for me, what I do, it'll definitely change how I can impact the game, but that may not be permanent, and it really depends on. We'll get into that. I think it's really interesting what Unreal Engine 5 could do for this game.
Yeah, so to kind of in layman's terms explain the differences between 3, 4, and 5 right now, and it's weird that they phrase it because they talk about how you're using a scripting language. For those that don't know about computer science and stuff, scripting is what they call coding, and that is the physical typing of, if this thing does this, then do this. If not, do this. It's not the case. It is actually a GUI interface, or a graphic user interface, if I'm correct. Yep. To use a square, and that has a bunch of options and arguments that you draw lines to. I've seen the crazy webs that you it's insane.
It's similar to object-oriented programming, but it's not exactly the same. It has some similarities, and it definitely makes it easier to work with. But I know that Unreal Engine 4 and 5 do use a similar system, blueprints and stuff. But as far as for Rocket League based stuff, it's really a very niche thing. It's basically just to make it optimized. And I know they want to do creative mode at some point, or people have been discussing that, and that's really not possible on the current engine, just based on performance and ability to work around the engine. Everything is very, very baked into Rocket League, where as far as I know, Unreal Engine 4 and 5 is a lot more free. And we discussed this off camera, but it's a physically based engine instead. So basically real space, real reflections of the space around an object, for example.
Yeah, so to kind of explain the benefits to it to people as well, to the best of my ability from the things I've read and done research on, imagine an engine that's existed for 20 plus years and it continues to improve and get better. They're basically optimizing the way things are done internally. That's the most basic way I can explain it without getting into specifics. Like, based upon some of the things I've read, like I'm reading here on a Reddit post, they're still using some of the same buttons and implementation from Unreal Engine 1 in Unreal Engine 4. So like there is some things that are just built upon or improved upon. But to my knowledge, the biggest thing that came with Unreal Engine 4 and then 5 improved on even more so is open world. The ability to create large, grand scale things with better optimization. It's less intrusive on your computer. It doesn't take as much, which seems to be... There's a lot of tricks that Rocket League does with Unreal Engine 3 to make it look pretty and shiny and make
it's pretty impressive,
the fake effect of 3D landscapes.
And there's a lot of things that like just aren't possible optimization wise. Like you have to consider that when they make Rocket League, since it is a console wide game, they have to consider what's possible on every different console, every kind of computer too. There could be computers worse than a console that, you know, they need to allow to run the game. And with a higher like a better engine, not a higher level engine, but like a better engine like Unreal Engine 4 even, you could provide the same quality on a much cheaper computer, for example, through that, based on the fact that they don't have to do a bunch of tricks to make the game look pretty. The game will just, you know, the engine will just render it out much quicker and much faster for computers.
Which, again, there's a lot of people who do have toasters and stuff, and there is ways that you can run Rocket League on those, which I've seen the videos and they're hilarious. But the ability to optimize not only on our side for the people playing, but also on the side of the people building and creating, which is obviously one of the reasons why we're talking to you.
It's a wonderful process.
yeah. I can't imagine some of the tricks that you have learned over your various year plus of building different maps and stuff. Like I even see you like every like couple months you're like, oh, I figured out this new thing that allows me to do this other thing way faster. Because I like lurk your streams a bunch and watch you build maps when you do them on Twitch, and it's like the process of how fast you've gotten at it. A lot of that feels like you said it's going to change going into the next next engines, if it does happen.
It might even be, there's a big thing that people really haven't talked about with Unreal Engine 5 yet is Baki's mod just might not exist. And what is included from Baki's mod in the game, potentially, I don't know if they're going to do anything like that. It's up in the air. But as far as like, you know, Baki's mod and all the different mods, those are all going to be broken because it's all a different engine and how the game runs and considers everything in Rocket League. So the whole system's going to change. But the thing is, they have to go back and change they have to keep all of the objects and, you know, items for people, because they can't make the same game transition to a new engine and not provide all the items that people have bought and stuff. So there's a lot of things to consider. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how long it takes them and what kind of process it's going to take for them. And they haven't really communicated anything on their side yet.
So I'm going to, as I mentioned in my intro, I'm going to leave a link down below because Halfway Dead explains it better than I ever could about some of the specifics and the nuances that are going on. If you want to know more about the specifics of like what they have to do from Unreal Engine 3 to 5 and the different implementations and some of the things that he's requesting and all that kind of stuff, I'll link to that in the description below. But I want to talk about more so like the hopeful future, the things that we're excited about, and some of the things that I'm hoping get implemented in the regards of like now that they're possible. The biggest things, obviously, you and I talk about is creative mode. It's probably the most sought after feature that we want in Rocket League, and it just literally is not possible in Unreal Engine 3. The limitations are insane. From things I've heard,
like what I talked about was how the maps are baked in. Like there's no way they could develop an entire map editor in Rocket League right now.
Yeah.
I feel like lately this game is built from a mod. I mean, most people don't know this, but like Psyonix were really heavy into mods before. I
mean, they were a contract company. They were not a massive game developer before Rocket League came in. They built car physics for like Unreal Tournament and everything else, and then they were gonna build this like twisted metal battle car arena thing. Think like Mario Kart, where you like try to get rid of the balloons on people.
Yep,
pretty much that, but a little bit more space vibey, I guess, is the best way I can explain it. If you guys haven't seen the alpha footage, go check it out. But that's what they built it on. And then Beckwith dropped a ball in the arena, and that became everybody's favorite. That's how Rocket League was born. So yeah,
Just it started off as a mod. So
yeah.
yeah, they're definitely like heavy into mods. They do like them, and I don't know, like it's gonna be interesting to see what they bring into the game from the transition as well, because I think they're gonna add more stuff. Like they want to have a bunch of content before they release it. So I don't know. I don't know where they're gonna go.
Yeah, I think a creative mode for those that didn't see it, because the same thing happened with Fortnite, and I think the reason why I was so excited, even though I wasn't allowed to talk about it at first, the reason why I'm so excited about Unreal Engine, everybody thinks that like just because Epic did this thing to Fortnite's esports scene, it's gonna have the same effect on Rocket League esports. When it's like the company's worth billions of dollars for a reason. They know what they're doing. There's a reason they bought Rocket League. They see it as potential for that capacity of this is an esport, not a marketing tool. Like Fortnite is.
It's I mean, it is a marketing tool, but at the same time, like it's such a
there's professional integrity here as compared to Fortnite.
Right.
So
I think that it's gonna be never mind, you go ahead.
Yeah, I'll be the bad guy. But yeah, so if you guys didn't see, Fortnite did get an engine update at some point in their life cycle, and it brought in a creative mode. And if you've never seen footage of creative mode in Fortnite, the thing that excites me most is what Epic did with that is they actually ran tournaments and competitions where people would go to a venue and try to build the best custom map possible. Winner got a prize. And it's like those types of things, if they were to happen to Rocket League and just really entice the community to start. I mean, one, Lethamyr, you're not going to have to work as hard. You're actually going to be able to like take some time off.
Amazing.
If everybody has this map creator and you just let people go nuts. I mean, I come from the days of, you know, Dota All-Stars and Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne and custom maps and Tower Wars and defenses and all that kind of stuff. And like until before the remaster came out, which completely destroyed the game. Shame on you, Blizzard. But like that game I played literally for 20 years. It was my childhood, and still like I used to get together with like Jacob and Leaf and a bunch of other like older people in the Rocket League community, even though Jacob's only like 24. But like we would sit and play Warcraft 3 custom games 15 years after the game existed. And it's like, if that
and Rocket League could be that too.
Yeah, like it has that potential to, like, if there was just a creative mode, which they can't do, an Unreal Engine 5, back to the original topic, might allow. I know there's network implementations that are really important as well. If you guys have ever played like a Counter-Strike custom map, the ability to say, hey, I want this map, it's hosted on a server, a double click, oh, I don't have it, it downloads it, you boot it into the server, you're good to go.
Yeah, I don't really want to dive like too much into like the networking side of things, but just that capability as well is not really like a big possibility with their system right now. Like the whole point of me bringing up like how this game was built on out of mods is the fact that it's kind of not spaghetti code, but the game isn't super secure to be able to just change things. That's why like every time they update something, other things break and they're like, oh, why did that happen? That makes no sense. Like, yeah, it doesn't make no sense. But they can build it on such a stronger foundation too, because they didn't expect this game to get this big.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the engine itself, right? Like you're adding a new implementation. You can take all the things you've learned over the past 5-6 years and do it better. Like, I know for many, because you're still a very high level player, every patch that comes out, the one that just dropped, like I was watching scrims from Rizzo, the scrim shuffle that he did. And like you can see Justin in the chat be like, oh man, new 1 gig patch came out, here come the bugs. And it's like every pro knows that if there's a patch right before any tournaments, they're just like, something's gonna happen. And like the fact that that's a concern is scary, considering we're not just doing a patch, we're doing a rebuild of the entire game pretty much.
Yeah, the entire game has to be rebuilt from the ground up. This is why it's gonna take a long time too, because the only thing they can really bring back from this game right now is Unreal Engine 3 models that they made. But
can you go into more detail about like the other things, and like I know you mentioned like particle effects, other stuff like that. Can you go into like more specifics about like they can bring up the models, but what does that truly mean in full capacity?
I mean, like because Unreal Engine 5 can be so much more detailed, like even the models they have, they probably want to update and improve upon. Like the Octane could look crazy with a higher level detail. So I'm seriously considering that they're probably working on changing all of that. There's a lot, like even if you watch their high level trailers, like those are probably rendered in something like Unreal Engine 4 at the time when they first started making them. I don't really know much about that, but they have to recreate all their particle systems, recreate all the goal explosions are, for example, from scratch. They have all their materials and stuff, but as far as recreating it, they have to do it from the ground up, all of it. So it's gonna be a lot of work for them.
Because I know a lot of us are like hoping, like, yes, this will come out soon, but there's a chance that this is years away. Like, it
could be.
I don't know how. I assume they've been working on this for a very long time. That's just kind of how Psyonix do. They're just like, hey, hush, hush, we're working on this thing. Oh, now it's here.
So here's my thought.
Okay, here's the thesis by Lethamyr. Here's his brain going to work.
I think that they've been in talks. Probably, well, they were in talks with Epic Games for a long time before the acquisition actually happened. And I think that within the contract, like Rocket League was probably looking to move to a new engine, and they were like, "Oh, why don't we speak with Epic Games?" And then Epic Games is probably like, "Hey, we've got a new engine coming out soon. Let's wait until that's ready to be used to start building a second Rocket League." And I think they've actually maybe been working on it since they bought the company.
So there is things I know that I definitely can't say.
Okay, of course, the classic Lawler, the privileged information.
These are not good things.
Well, that's what I think. That's what I think that they were doing. I'm not sure if like that would be the smart thing to do.
How do I say this?
Well, just don't.
I will say that Rocket League being acquired is and was not a new idea.
Right.
And was something that was in the process for a very long time, even prior to Epic's inquiry, is the way I will phrase it.
Based on the ownership of Rocket League.
Yes, based on Hagewood and etc.
Right.
I will not go into any other details other than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like, it's kind of the perfect situation where you are built upon an engine and the people who own said engine buy you. Like,
right.
It's the ideal scenario. It's why I was so excited about it. So I am hoping that creative mode, networking stuff comes into play. And yes, it's going to be a lot of rebuilding and a lot of different changes, but there is always, for me, the concern of, is it going to feel different? With it being a physics-based game, based upon what I was listening to in Halfway Dead's video,
it shouldn't change.
It shouldn't change because it's all server side.
Well, it's also on a completely different thing. Like, Bullet is not even like the physics engine that they use for collision and all that stuff. Like the detecting physics of the car. I'm not going to get into like super detail about it, but basically it's the same system that they would use in Unreal Engine 5. So I don't think it's going to change anything.
Yeah, for those that are unaware, there's a reason why we don't have hacking online. I say online because Sunless and you and a couple of others like to make aimbots and stuff for local clients when you use Baka's mod. You heckin' cheaters. Online, when I'm playing on an online match, you don't see people hacking, which is something I think we underappreciate. It's not something that, like, you hear all the issues about like DDoSing and hackers and Apex Ranked and Warzone and all these other FPS games, and Rocket League is just, I'm gonna go hit ball hard. Like, we don't have to worry about that stuff. And because all that stuff is handled not within the client itself, like there's not a file on your computer you can manipulate to change what happens online. It's all handled elsewhere. And like you mentioned, because of that, they should be able to just, in very simplistic ways, cut and paste to the new engine.
Yeah, in a way. I mean, yeah, like you said, it's very cut and paste. I feel like it's a lot more involved than people think, but
all the devs out there are just like, this mother. It's just probably like, it's way harder than that. And I'm like, I know, I get it, but
I don't want to
get it, but we're not gonna.
I don't really know enough about networking stuff either to really dive into that kind of stuff.
I dropped out of college for networking, so like, clearly I know what I'm talking about too. So
yeah,
but yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
I guess before we like keep, because I'm sure you and I could go in circles about this. I guess, do you have like just any overall thoughts, things, concerns, positives, negative, anything that you want to like, because obviously it's been something that's probably been brewing in your brain for a while. Is there any statements in general that you want to take with no limitations?
Well, I'm excited about it. Unfortunately, all my custom maps, 100 plus, will be dead, but it'll be for a good cause. I think that I expect to see a lot more people maybe sticking with the game because they'll have hopefully things in place to keep the new player interested in the game, or better suited to help train a player who's new. Because I feel like that's something they could also work on right now. Is having something like for example, a ball prediction,
Mhm.
which can be done in obviously the Chinese version of Rocket League has that, and there's
Yeah.
actually a mod that does that, but it can be done fluidly on a server, and you know, to ensure there isn't any cheating and stuff. A lot safer methods basically.
Yeah, to double down on that, when I first saw this leaked accidentally through their job posting, I was like, finally. I'm so excited that this is happening because I know, just because I've seen it from other games, what those updates can do and what it can lead to, and the limitations that we currently deal with. I know that Psyonix at any given time has a bunch of projects that they have on their like whiteboard of like, these are the things we want to tackle. What are more possible to finish now as compared to later? And I hope people understand, yes, there is a different department in Psyonix / Epic Games that works on cosmetics compared to features and maps.
And of course, they're able to make them a lot faster. Because
exactly. So like, people need to stop harassing because this stuff takes time and development and just a ton of effort. And they're trying to hire people clearly. So it's not like they're just not trying to do it. So like, people are upset for the wrong reasons. I think people just want communication as to what's going on, and that's why people are upset. So
yeah, that's definitely something that can be improved upon. I think they just need constant updates. Like, they should really be telling people, like, hey, we're working on Unreal Engine 5 right now. Here's the current percentage of process or progress. And let us know, you know, timing. I need to know timing because it's really important that I know when I should stop working on stupid map projects. Please let me know, because I don't want to start like something huge. And
it's to me, I'm excited. I'm really excited because I know if Psyonix is going to put the time and effort, they're going to do it right. Like, this is their baby. Like, the amount of effort that went into after they made SARP BC, and then realized like to still take on a bunch of contract work just so you can make a second iteration of the game because you know it's going to be successful. If you put that kind of love and passion into a game, I can't imagine what the different little details and nuances that they're focusing on to make sure that this is done correctly.
Yeah, I feel like as an entity, like, Rocket League can appear to be a perfectionist.
Yeah. I mean, they're worried about the public opinion. They're worried about all that kind of stuff. I remember doing interviews that they're like, hey, you got to make sure you say these things because we don't want to make sure anything's misconstrued. Like, they're very, very particular about how things are presented to their game. So the fact that they're taking on this kind of project where a lot of things could go poorly, because it's a big deal, I'm very, very excited, and I don't want to set expectations because you just never know. But
they really should be including people in the process to make sure they're not wasting their time. For example, they should probably be, you know, reaching out to certain people and having them tested. I'm sure they have like people testing at the company, but they need outside opinion, unbiased.
They need people that are going to give them very raw, you know, candid responses about like, hey, this needs to be fixed. This is an issue. This isn't, like, they need some high level players and some casual players as well, honestly, because you got to be able to appeal to that fan base as well about, hey, we implemented this training thing. Does this help you? You know, that kind of stuff, that kind of feedback is really important. So they need a wide scale. I hope they have QA from outside of things as well. I hope they do some sort of closed alpha or something to make sure that when it does start to come to be like
Rocket League 2 alpha boost, like a new alpha boost.
Oh gosh, right. Let me buy that right away, please.
Well, like, I think they need a mix of content, like content creators, pros, freestylers, casual players. And even casters should probably have
the more the merrier. Yeah, hopefully we get a an observer update that we've been asking for 6 months in. Like, there's been a lot of things, and I'm glad that you know, to the spectators, some things have changed. But again, those are all things that are limited, like server slots for how many people can play in a lobby. All that stuff is limitations of Unreal Engine 3. And I don't think people realize how much is affected by that older engine. So
I mean, I don't know about the player size, because we've definitely seen
I mean
lobbies of 100 people.
I get that,
more
but
like the
at the same
side.
time, when it's done locally as compared to through a server and sending all that stuff,
yeah.
like it's different, because everybody's just pinging to what you're hosting off of.
Yeah, I know. I definitely agree. I'm just saying that it's definitely like
it's
there's just a
possible. It's
limitation of
possible,
optimization.
but I mean, we all know that map's too small already. So even for 3v3, in my opinion, people have gotten too good. But that's a whole different story. And if we have a creative mode, we can truly try that out. Imagine if in creative mode you can just drag map and scale it bigger or smaller, and that's just a thing you can do. That would be nuts.
That would be crazy, and I think it would be possible.
I do
But
too.
for right now, it's not possible.
No, it's a big ouchie on computers and everything.
It's basically like a lot of the conversations. Just it's not possible now. It will be in the future. So that's what they're hoping for.
We're all hoping for it, man. Either way, Lethamyr, I appreciate you taking the time, man. Thanks for sharing thoughts, opinions, insight, all that kind of fun stuff.
Of course.
Game soon as always, but I will let you get on out of here. You guys don't need me to, but links to all of less show souls down below. You got any cool stuff you're working on that you want to promote?
Not really. No, kind of a secret stuff right now. We got the map that I'm working on, but it's always a map I'm working on. So
Wojtek, go to his Twitter. See all those tweets he's doing? Put those up in this area. Take that, Lethamyr.
well, yeah. Either way, I appreciate you, man.
No, I appreciate you more, man. Appreciate you taking the time, and talk soon, game soon. All right.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, later, brother.
See ya.
All right, everybody. Appreciate you guys taking the time to come and talk about Unreal Engine 5. Again, if you guys have any additional questions, comments, concerns, drop them in the comments down below. Make sure you check out Halfway Dead on Rocket Science about his video on it and kind of the specifics, the nuances, the nitty gritty behind it. That'll be linked down below as well. And if you guys haven't already, go show some love to Lethamyr. He puts in a ton of time and effort to make fun and unique custom maps for those of us on PC with workshop maps. But if you guys do enjoy this type of content, you enjoy this type of stuff, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.